missed me, because I'm back. I'm
Yo, what's up? This is the PizzaPocket Gamer here. Now I realize I haven't uploaded anything in like 5 or 6 months, at least at the time of this recording. Now, do I really care? No, not really actually. But for those who actually do care, like, you know, I don't know, 5 people like that Nintendo Hedgehog or Jack Gamer or whatever, thanks, I guess. You know, push me back up here. So, another reason why I'm actually continuing this is because it's going to be a year since I actually started to do this mess. Might as well continue making this mess the way it is right now. Last time I talked about my game, I talked about Rocket Knight Adventures for the Sega Genesis. Now even though that game did actually fall under obscurity, it actually did spawn 2 sequels. One for the Sega Genesis and one for the Super Nintendo. Now, I actually do own the Super Nintendo version and physical copy, but I do not own the Sega Genesis version, unfortunately. So I have to refer to the computer for the Sega Genesis version. Now, which game I'm going to talk first about? Let's go with the Sega Genesis one, because, you know, it's the game that came out first. Then we'll talk about the Super Nintendo one. Well, guess I'm back here again with the reviews of the video games. It feels nice to be here again. Alright. So, Sparkster, or Rocket Knight Adventures 2, was released for the Sega Genesis in February 22nd of 1994. And I'm just gonna point it out here real quick before I continue on any further. I'm doing this, you know, to add more time to the video too, so it can look more appealing, whatever. Yeah, it's tricks you gotta learn, you know. I mean, I'm not that desperate for views yet. I'm not talking about Undertale or Five Nights at Freddy's or anything, so I'm still good. I still have self-respect. So anyway, I'm just gonna say that I really haven't played much of the Sega Genesis version, or beaten it really, similar to Rocket Knight Adventures. Why is that? Because the emulator. It really is a pain on the butt. Now that I have a new phone, it's even more unresponsive. And the keyboard, it's not new or anything, it just doesn't help the situation at all. So I'm just gonna have to review the game from what I see. So, you click start on the game, and then the title just goes down, and then you're seeing Sparkster trying to get the sword out, you know? Like, you know, like King Arthur. You know? And you see our little hedgehog, possum thing, whatever, struggling. And then, boom! Oh my gosh, a giant robot. Now, why am I not surprised? Well, you know, I mean, after you've seen this gameplay over 50,000 times for this review, it just really doesn't get to you. So we continue, and now you're thrown immediately in the game. Jeez. What about those first-time players that don't know that they're being thrown in the game, and they die all of a sudden, you know, because they didn't move the controls? Jeez. Anyway, nonetheless, even if you win or lose, you get this really cool looking, you know, cover art thing or whatever, where you see Sparkster holding the sword, nonetheless, and it says Sparkster, Rocket Knight Adventures 2. Yeah. Alright, so I can simply go through the levels, level by level, explaining all the details and all the things that go with it, you know, and be like one of those viewers or YouTubers or whatever that's just trying to get the point across, you know, that they love the game or whatever. Or, you know, I mean, I can just simply, you know, review what I see, you know. what's the story of the game? Well, it takes place right after you beat the first game. Yeah. No, I'm being serious. Well, I don't know. Nobody has a clock in that game or anything. Time is really much of an issue. You don't know when this place takes place in. And what is that one weird creature that's there? Oh man. Honestly, two things that game needs to fix. The pixelation on that creature and time. Be like Sonic 06. Be more time. Oh yeah, right. I'm supposed to be reviewing the game. Alright, so the story is Axel Gear is back again, you know, as usual. And he just kidnaps the princess's daughter, Princess Cherry. The princess... whatever. Random stuff happens, whatever. So, anyway, the Empire strikes back, but this time... jeez, I gotta make a script for this thing, seriously. Like, every time I do this episode, it takes place right after Rocket Knight Adventures, the first game. So after the kingdom was saved by Sparkster, you know, from the pig kingdom, it becomes attack again. But this time, it's led by King Gedal, or Jedal. I don't know. It's a lizard. Anyway, making matters worse, you know, the lizard dude hired Axel Gear, and the beginning cutscene you see here is that Sparkster is walking with Princess Sherry and her cousin Princess Cherry, and oh my god, what is that thing? And you know, Sparkster's walking to two princesses or whatever, and then boom, Axel Gear comes out of nowhere and kidnaps one of them. So Sparkster's just staring at him like, and he just flies off with his jetpack, immediately boosting you to the first level. Okay, so the controls to this game, well, it actually took a completely different approach to it. So instead of holding down the sword button to charge up your jetpack, it actually automatically charges. It charges in two boosts. One is the quick boost, which charges really quick, but it doesn't have much power and energy. And then the double charge boost, I'm actually making these up right now, because it wasn't explained clearly, but whatever. The double charge boost actually takes a while to charge, but it has more energy. Also, whenever you know, do the sword thingy slash thingy, the beam doesn't come out. Why did they do that, you know? You're not supposed to do that until, like, you know, 11 years after being created, and then another 7 or 8 whatever years, so you can make it even worse. Honestly, what I like about this game is that even though they changed the character physics completely, they made the level go with it. It's like Mega Man 4, you know? All the enemies are more difficult to beat, because Mega Man now has a charge shot. In Mega Man 1 through 3, all the enemies were easy to beat. Okay, so this game only has 5 levels. So you might think that the replay value might not be, you know, up to par to what you expect nowadays. You know, like 100 levels of that stuff? Man! Huh. That's advanced for us retro gamers, even though Super Mario World did it. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Shigeru Miyamoto. Yep, you think that limitations are impossible? Well, guess what? But there's actually replay value in this game. So, similar to Sonic the Hedgehog, Sparkster can turn golden. There are 6 secret swords hidden within the levels. You know, as well as the one cleared in the intro level. So that's why people say never to skip it, or you have to beat it, or whatever. So yeah. Once you obtain all of those secret swords, you become Supersonic. Gold Sparkster. So what does Gold Sparkster have? Well, he doesn't have repetitive music like you-know-who, but he does hit harder than normal Sparkster, and his rocket pack charges way faster. However, he is able to sustain damage though. Also, completing the game as Gold Sparkster, you get the true ending. And not completing it, you just, get like a message that says, try again. Now, what is this elusive true ending? Well, that's all it is a cutscene of Sparkster returning to the same area from square one, but this time, he's just returning the sword. Okay, you might think that he's returning the sword because it's cursed or whatever, but no, there is nothing wrong with it. In fact, it didn't even help with the plot whatsoever. The plot was that the princess gets kidnapped and it's up to Sparkster to save her. But no. The sword has something to do with this? I mean, I would talk about something about the instruction manual, but guess what? I don't have it. But the sword. So is the sword the reason why this game happens? Is the sword the reason why Konami still exists? Is the sword... Alright, so Sparkster was released on the SNES a couple months after the Sega Genesis version. And what can I say about this game? Well, I have one lot to say about this game. Because I actually grew up with this game, and I've played it so many times that I know about it inside and out. Know 95% of the secrets. The other 5%, I don't know about because I don't know about it. But still, now let's talk about the story about this game. The story is, well, one would expect it to be the same thing as the Sega Genesis version, but no. Surprisingly, it isn't. Why? Well, it's actually a reboot. It's a reboot. That doesn't make any sense, though. Because, you see, Sparkster on the Genesis and Super Nintendo was released around in the same year, with carrying the same title, published from the same company, had the same art style and direction, heck, even the same music. Well, different arrangements. Super Nintendo sounds orchestral, while Sega Genesis sounds more punk rocky style, but still. So not only did it confuse a bunch of gamers, no, that's the only thing that happened, it confused a bunch of gamers. In fact, it was made fun of on Sonic for Hire. If you're on Sonic for Hire for a bad reason, you screwed up somewhere, but whatever. Now what's the story of this game? It's the same thing, really. It's just, the only thing different is it's lions. That's it. Lions or tigers or wolves. No, yeah, wolves. And the other difference is, at the cutscene, there's only one in the beginning, and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, just look at this, just watch it. Yeah, what can you make out of it? Yeah, oh yeah, I can totally make out of it. Yeah, this totally makes sense. This one cutscene explains it all right there. Controls for this game, same thing as Rocket Knight Adventures 1. The only thing different is that this thing has LNR buttons. Something that the Genesis lacked of having. And because of that, it has a side slash, which is actually a pretty neat invention right there, made by Konami. The music is pretty good, like I said earlier, it's more orchestrated type, or using more digitized instruments. That's all I have to say about this game, really. I mean, what more do you want me to do? Well, that wraps up my review of the Sparkster trilogy. Now, I know a fourth one was released a couple of years ago, and I've played it. Thing is, it just didn't... It's not enough to make it into a video or anything. Because it's 20 years too late to be released. It would have done more if it was released when the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 were just about starting up. Because that was when Sparkster was still relevant, It was just a year difference, that's it. But 20 years difference, it didn't sell well because not people knew much about Sparkster to begin with back in the 90s, let alone in the 21st century. I'm not going to be talking much about it. Maybe soon I will. But, yeah, now it completely wraps up my review. thanks for making it this far. Hope you enjoyed. If you haven't seen the Rocket Knight Adventures review, go ahead and watch it, because this video exists because of that other review. It's just a continuation right now. Yeah. So PizzaPocket Gamer, see you soon. Freeze frame.